Ray Brown's Talking Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
By Vortex Optics with the VIP warranty. Their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com. And by Hog Island Audubon Camp. For full camp schedule, program details, and to register, visit hogisland.audubon.org.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Welcome to our show number 1028. We'll start off with some thank yous to friends in California and here in Massachusetts, and an audio postcard from Florida. Thanks to Lori Large, Charity Hagan, and Beggaret Ghazi for hosting our Talking Birds table at the just completed San Diego Bird Festival. Look for some photos of these three marvelous ladies at the festival, coming soon to our talkingbirds.com website and social media pages. Meanwhile, thanks to our friends at Massachusetts Audubon, Mass Audubon, especially Amanda Lagoy, for providing a Talking Birds info table for us at their annual Birders meeting on Saturday, March 8th, yesterday as we do our show live on the beautiful campus of Holy Cross College in Worcester, Massachusetts. At that event, the great Wayne Peterson was presented with the Hemingway and Hall Wildlife Conservation Award, named for Harriet Hemingway and Minna Hall, who founded Mass Audubon in 1896 with the primary aim of ending the practice of slaughtering birds to obtain feathers for ladies' hats. Now on to that South Florida audio postcard from, wait for it, our own Mike O'Connor of Cape Cod's legendary Birdwatchers General Store. Good morning, Mike.
Well, good morning, Ray. Joel, pal Mike. I'm here on Key West, and my goal is to see a white crown pigeon. And I'm listening, and I think I see a white crown pigeon, actually, which is exciting because it used to be on the cover of the old ABA Guide to Florida. But I can hear another bird calling. I can't quite picture what it is or figure out what it is. I got my book out. I got my apps going, and I can hear it calling, but I'm not sure what it is. But if I figure it out, I'll get back to you.
Yeah, all right, Mike. That's a tough one there. All right. We'll find out a little bit later on if Mike has figured that out. Audio postcard, you can send us one. Just grab a smartphone or other similar recording device. Just describe what you're seeing or hearing for maybe 30 seconds or a minute, and the little file will be created. And just email that to ray@talkingbirds.com as your audio postcard. That's ray@talkingbirds.com. What we're hearing right now is our mystery bird. Previewing the contest coming later in the show, trying to get you ready now so you can call in as soon as we make the contest official just a little bit later on. Our mystery bird is a medium-sized dabbler that's found mostly in the extreme southern part of the U.S., like South Texas and southern Arizona. Its face is gray, its chest and back are rust-colored, its belly is black, its bill is red, and its long legs are the color of double-bubble chewing gum. That is to say, pink. That's our mystery bird. We'll be doing the contest in just a little bit. And the prizes include some beautiful things from fresh-cut paper, makers of beautiful life-size pop-up floral bouquets. They're wilt-proof, crafted to last a lifetime, and they have a small fraction of the carbon footprint of imported flowers. One of the new ones they have is the Hummingbird Oasis Bouquet, brought to life with a kaleidoscope of hummingbirds that take flight with a gentle pull. What a beautiful thing that is. And this is beautiful, too. A big bag of our favorite coffee, shade-grown, bird-friendly, truly delicious birds and beans coffee, grown under the natural forest canopy in Central America to preserve wintering habitats for all the birds we love up north. Prizes there and the sound and clues of our mystery bird and the contest coming along a bit later in the show here. A royal salute to another member of the Talkin' Birds royal family, and that, of course, is our family of Talkin' Birds ambassadors. Those are the folks who take a step up and become ambassadors and thereby help us spread the word about our show and about birds and conservation, which is what we're kind of about here on the show. We want to say thank you to Peter Menka from Providence, Rhode Island, for becoming a Talkin' Birds ambassador. Thank you so much, Peter. And we often listen to other ambassadors talking about why they have become an ambassador, and today would be no exception to that.
I'm Kyle Orphan from Gloucester, Massachusetts. What I like most about being a Talkin' Birds ambassador is that the show provides me an opportunity to open up a new conversation with other birders. I find that if I bring the show up in conversation, it presents something new to somebody else in the birding community and also establishes a connection. And I find that the Talkin' Birds show gives me insight on birding around the world. And I'd love to be able to share that with other birders, particularly in my community and to the places that I travel for birding. If you're debating whether or not to become a Talkin' Birds ambassador, I encourage you to do so. It's a great opportunity to help promote the show and the great community that the Talkin' Birds show endorses.
Thank you so much, Kyle, for those thoughts and for that endorsement and that encouragement for folks to become Talkin' Birds ambassadors. It really, really is easy to become an ambassador and to be one as well. Just go to talkinbirds.com, no G in talking there, and click up near the top of the page. You'll see where it says Get Involved. And under Get Involved, you'll see the ambassador thing there. Very easy to sign up. Still to come today, we'll talk with veterinarian and birder Dr. Jim Randolph about why providing pet fur for birds to line their nests might not be a good idea. Also today, Mike O'Connor will join us for Let's Ask Mike Live, in which he'll talk about a very cool bird that he saw on his recent visit to Key West, Florida, and also let us know if he's figured out the identity of that other bird that he heard crowing at dawn down there. And up next, we'll learn about a broad-winged raptor that behaves like a wading bird. It's this week's featured feathered friend. Ever hear of a heron hawk? I hadn't either, until I saw a post by Tucson Audubon's Matt Griffiths, who opened his piece by saying, "Get a load of those wings." He was referring to the wings of the common blackhawk, most easily identified, as Matt points out, by its short tail and wings that are exceptionally broad. Both males and females are black overall, with a prominent white tail band and a white tip on the tail. Common blackhawks are habitat specialists, usually staying near water, but they're food generalists, feeding on everything from frogs, rodents, small birds, insects, and especially fish. And they're known for doing what herons do. They take advantage of their long legs to wade into shallow water, where they flutter their wings to startle and herd prey. Matt says common blackhawks are moving through southeast Arizona now, migrating along the riverbank wetlands and mountain canyons in which they breed. While common blackhawks are not all that common in the U.S., seen mostly in Arizona, as well as New Mexico and West Texas, they're a focal point at the Tubac Hawk Watch, underway now and continuing through March 31st at Ron Morris County Park in Tubac, Arizona. Details about the Hawk Watch, by the way, can be found at TucsonAudubon.org/Hawkwatch. That's TucsonAudubon.org/Hawkwatch. Buteo gallus, Anthracinus. Today's Talkin' Birds featured feathered friend, the common blackhawk. Welcome again to our show, number 1028. Dr. Jim Randolph is not only an avid birder, and a Talking Birds ambassador. He's also a veterinarian, and he's about to join us in connection with that third identity to talk about a couple of health questions at the intersection of your pet dog or cat and the birds maybe nesting in your backyard. He joins us from Diamond Head, Mississippi. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Ray.
Great to have you in this new context here, Jim. We're picking up on a recent chat with our Mike O'Connor about why providing pet hair for birds to use in lining their nests, as folks sometimes do, might not be such a good idea because that fur may be toxic if it's been treated topically for fleas and ticks. And if I'm right, you made 3 points about this, Jim, which I'll list, and then we can explore a bit. One is don't change what you're doing. Second is pre-treating is better than symptom treating. And the third one, and you can explain how this is connected, use heartworm medication year-round. Did I get those 3 points right, Jim?
Yes. The first one, you don't want to change what you're doing for your flea and tick control just so that birds can have some hair for their nest. There are essentially two ways that pet hair is going to get into a bird's nest. The first is that a bird might light on a pet, more likely a dog than a cat, and pluck a few hairs. And that's essentially inconsequential because even the most toxic thing you might put on your pet is not going to be in great enough volume and a few hairs to cause problems. But the other way is that if you groom your pet with a comb or a brush, and then you have handfuls of hair that you might put out for the birds to come and sample from, then the volume of insecticide could be substantial.
Okay, so this is only if you're sort of intentionally doing this, putting out that fur kind of in large volume, large amounts there. So
and it's a good it's a good idea to have your flea and tick control be seasonal, which is a few months in the north and 371 days a year in the southeast, because you don't want to get behind the curve. And then the part about heartworm preventive is that heartworm preventive medication and flea and tick control medications are often combined, especially in oral products.
I see. Okay. We'll talk about that oral aspect, too. What about this other note, Jim, just about pre-treating? That's better than symptom treating.
You just don't want to get a flea infestation and then have to treat the pet, treat the yard, treat the house. Just regular monthly control is going to be far better.
Mm-hmm. Well, we talk or have talked on the show about neonicotinoids, or neonics, as they're commonly called, a kind of pesticide that causes great trouble because it's actually within the plants themselves. But these things come into play when it comes to this sort of flea and tick treatment as well, right?
Absolutely. Mostly in the form of topicals, either a spray that you might put all over your pet or a spot-on, which is a liquid concentrate that is put from the neck down to the tail, and it spreads itself over the body. And those can commonly contain neonicotinoids. They sometimes are combined with pyrethrins or pyrethroids that have a quick action. But if your eye catches that you're using a combination product and your eye sees the pyrethrin, which is virtually non-toxic to birds, but you don't catch that there's also a neonicotinoid in there, then you could be causing problems.
Right. And I think you mentioned flea collars, but are they as much of a problem as the spray or powder?
One of the most popular active ingredients in flea collars is imidacloprid, and it is a neonicotinoid.
Okay. So the medication in pill form, more effective, but why do people not just use the pill form? Is it the expense?
It is slightly more expensive, but completely safe for the vast majority of pets and completely safe for birds as well. The tiny amount of medication that gets on the skin and hair is almost immeasurable. Most of the effect is in the blood. So fleas and ticks are blood-sucking parasites, and when they take in a blood meal that contains some of this, usually in the isoxazoline family of medications, then those insects are going to die, but no topical risk whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. One other thing you had mentioned to me earlier, Jim, when we talked off the air, was about vacuum cleaner material. If you're vacuuming your carpets, I guess people figured you'd get some pet hair from that and maybe put that outside, and there's a real big reason why that's not a good idea, right?
There are brands of vacuum cleaner that actually promote themselves as being pet efficient, that they pick up so much hair. And the hair that you get off your floor and out of your carpet, of course, carpets are made out of plastic, a petroleum product, and you don't want to be introducing more plastic into birds' environments. They have enough plastic and microplastic problems as it is. But you don't know what else is in there, too. Pieces of glass, pieces of food that have spoiled. Who knows what you pick up in your vacuum? That needs to go in the garbage.
We'll just have another minute, Jim, but from your perspective as a veterinarian and a birder, I wonder if you would say a word about why it's so important to keep cats indoors.
Well, first and foremost, it's good for the cats. Cats indoors, indoor cats live far, far longer than cats who go outdoors. They can lead completely fulfilling lives, and the number of birds that are destroyed by cats, not even for food, they oftentimes are just attractive to being attacked by cats, and it's a game for them.
Jim, you were kind enough to offer your blog here and invite people to ask you questions about pets and whatnot in conjunction with birds or otherwise. And I just want to give this address here. It's mypetsdoctor.com. That's pets with an S. That's your blog, mypetsdoctor.com. Dr. Jim Randolph is a veterinarian in Diamond Head, Mississippi, and a Talking Birds ambassador. And his blog, where you can get some of your pet questions answered again, is mypetsdoctor.com. Jim, thank you for being on with us and for offering that blog help, too.
Thank you, Ray. It was an honor.
Jim Randolph here on Talking Birds, and up next, it's our Mystery Bird contest in just 1 minute.
The flutter of a tail feather, the flash of a wing bar in mid-flight. You don't always have a lot of time to identify a bird in nature, let alone to appreciate its beauty. But with Vortex Optics, you'll have the power to bring every wild moment closer. When you choose Vortex, you're choosing to have a partner in the field as passionate about nature as you are. Whether you're spotting old friends on the backyard feeder or packing for a once-in-a-lifetime trip to add a few species to your life list, Vortex offers a full range of optics and optics accessories for every birder and every budget. And whether the birds are taking you to another state or another country, you're always covered by the Vortex VIP warranty, an unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. If you'd like to learn more, or if you need help choosing your next optic, give Vortex a call at 1-800-4VORTEX or visit vortexoptics.com.
It's our Mystery Bird. The Mystery Bird contest now underway. Our mystery bird is a medium-sized dabbler that's found mostly in the extreme southern part of the U.S., like South Texas and southern Arizona. Its face is gray, its chest and back are rust-colored, its belly is black, its bill is red, and its long legs are the color of double-bubble pink chewing gum. Description there, the sound of our mystery bird, and here's that all-important phone number. I'll give it again, too, in a moment, 781-837-4900. Prizes include a big bag of our favorite coffee, shade-grown, bird-friendly, and delicious Birds and Beans coffee. And from Fresh Cut Paper, a certificate for 5 bouquets, beautiful bouquets that are wilt-proof, crafted to last a lifetime, and coming with a small fraction of the carbon footprint of imported flowers. Here's that number again at 781-837-4900. As always, we urge you to call as soon as you can. 781-837-4900. Meanwhile, it's Let's Ask Mike live in just 1 minute. Hog Island Audubon Camp has welcomed nature enthusiasts to its shores since 1936. It's a program of the Seabird Institute, and the island hosts 5-night sessions for adults, teens, and families taught by the world's leading naturalists, ornithologists, and artists. Hog Island campers deepen their relationships with the birds and the ecosystems around them during the island's immersive educational camps. New for the 2025 camp season is Let's Go Birding Together. Scheduled during peak fall migration, this session is a safe space for queer birders to connect with nature and each other while learning ways to foster a similar environment in their community's home. For full Hog Island schedule, program details, and to register, visit hogisland.audubon.org. Mike O'Connor is down there at the, I don't know if he's in Cape Cod or if he's in Key West, but I think he's on Cape Cod. Let's find out. Good morning, Mike. Do you know where you are? Maybe
the good thing for GPS. Hey, that Dr. Jim is pretty smart. For one of your guests, that was pretty good.
I know it's a little unusual, but yeah, that worked out nicely. Some great advice there from Dr. Jim.
Yeah, it was good for him. Thanks for having him on.
I think I missed the first few seconds of your answer just now, and you said you're back on Cape Cod, right?
Oh, yeah, back on the Cape, man. I was just down there, living the good life with the flip flops down there in Key West, checking out the birds, and I go down there and everybody's walking around, Key West, like with a Hawaiian shirt and like a margarita in their hand, and I'm walking around with a big hat and binoculars looking for birds. I'm just the opposite of everybody else. But it was a good trip. And Key West is a cool place because it's actually closer to Cuba than it is the rest of the country. Yeah. It's, from Miami, it's further away than it is to Cuba. So Key West gets a lot of unusual birds coming over. What shocked me was that how few birds, backyard birds that we're used to, aren't there. Mm-hmm. There were no blue jays, there were no chickadees. I didn't see a finch. I didn't see a crow. I didn't see a chipmunk or a squirrel. So I couldn't open a store there because that's all I sell. I couldn't sell the stuff that I live on. But on the same token, you get some unusual. You get magnificent frigate birds. You get these kind of unusual short-tailed hawks, which are really a South American bird, but they come over. You get swallow-tailed kites, and the controversial great white heron that you get in a room of birders, and they'll argue forever, is great white heron really a great blue heron that's white, or is it a whole different species? So it's exciting. But the reason I went there was to see white-crowned pigeons because... by the way, I figured out what that bird was that was calling.
Oh, you did? Well, I was talking to my friend Foghorn Leghorn, and he was going to give some hint on that, but you figured it out.
Well, my wife, after I started talking about it, she goes, that's a rooster. Oh, I should have known, I'm not a farm boy, so I don't know those things. So those were roosters calling, and Key West is full. There's more roosters than people sometimes walking around, or chickens in general. But anyway, back to the white-crowned pigeon, Foghorn. It was that's another bird that really lives in the islands, on the tropical islands, and it's not doing well because it's somewhat protected, but they don't really enforce it very well, so it's hunted pretty good. But on Key West, it's doing well. I saw several of them, and when you think of pigeons, you think of the rock pigeons that in the park eating French fries. These aren't that. They sit up in the trees. They're beautiful. They get this white crown. They're really well marked. They got a crazy yellow eye, and they nest in the mangroves and then fly up to the highlands for fruit. And so they don't do anything that like the park pigeons do. And I remember seeing one on the cover of the ABA Guide to Florida once, and I said, I got to see that one day. We went down there, and they seemed to be doing okay because I saw several of them, and it was kind of adventurous. So if you want a little different birding experience and you like margaritas and Hawaiian shirts, that's the
place to go. All right. And you might want to see that other bird that you heard. What was it again?
I got to check with my wife.
Check with your wife and see again what that was. Some kind of thing like that. Thank you, Mike.
Okay, talk to you next week.
Mike O'Connor there at the famous Birdwatchers General Store on Cape Cod. Meanwhile, we return to the Mystery Bird Contest while we have time. We'll just play that sound again. It's 781-837-4900. And Cindy is somewhere, I think, where we might see that bird. I could be wrong about that, but let's find out. She's in Canyon Lake, Texas. Good morning, Cindy.
Good morning, Ray.
Good morning. I've seen Canyon Lake on the map, and now I can't exactly recall where it is in the great state of Texas.
It's between San Antonio and Austin.
Okay, so that's kind of far south, right? Kind of, yeah. But in any case, what do you say that mystery bird is?
I think that's the black-bellied whistling duck.
Let me check my notes and see if that lines up with it. Actually, it does, yes.
All right,
the black-bellied whistling duck. I've seen this bird in Texas and in Louisiana, and we've actually had them up here in New England quite recently, which is kind of a big surprise, I think, to a lot of people. But, it's getting around there. What an unusual and amazing-looking bird that is. And I'm reading, too, this is I guess ornithologists have not suggested that this bird is not a duck, but because of its long legs and unusual appearance and behaviors, it seems to resemble geese and swans more than it resembles other ducks. Definitely a strange bird, as they say. Hey, we have time for a bonus question, Cindy, if you'd be interested in giving it a try.
Sure, I'll give it a try.
Okay, again, we have a question that's not about birds, but this has something to do with our show next week, which is going to be, in part, about microplastics. And we heard Dr. Jim mention microplastics a few minutes ago. New research from the University of New Mexico finds that the average human brain in the U.S. contains unexpected somethings that weigh about as much as a typical plastic spoon. I just realized that I've given away the answer here with my introduction, but that's okay. We'll just march on unimpeded. What are those unexpected somethings? I think you might get this one. A, caffeine molecules. B, alcohol molecules. C, sugar crystals. Or D, microplastics. Any idea which one that it might be? Microplastics. I don't know how you did that, but I bet you would have known that even if I hadn't given away the answer at the beginning. Yes. All right. Well, Cindy, you've won everything across the board there with the correct answer of the Mystery Bird Contest as the black-bellied whistling duck, and also our bonus question. And by the way, for the bonus question, we'll send you a feather-friendly kit to protect your windows or any windows that you'd like to protect from bird crashes.
Oh, wonderful. That'd be fantastic.
All right. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cindy, in Canyon Lake, Texas, in our Mystery Bird Contest. And that would mean we're out of time. I kind of hinted to the fact that we'll talk about microplastics, specifically about International Plastic Pellet Count, or the International Plastic Pellet Count, which is coming soon. And we'll talk with Kelly Leviker from the U.S. Public Interest Research Group about that right here on our show next week. Meanwhile, thanks to our amazing Talkin' Birds team, Debbie Bleacher, Freya McGregor, and our producing engineer, Jesse Wilkins. I'm Ray Brown. See you next week.
The Bird Show. I like that. I love it.
Ray Brown's Talkin' Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
By Vortex Optics with the VIP warranty. Their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com. And by Hog Island Audubon Camp. For full camp schedule, program details, and to register, visit hogisland.audubon.org.